live! Hello, welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. This is episode 37, which I think I called "We're Gonna Make You Angry Tonight" or some shit. And
I'm already angry.
The pre-show, just telling the guys what we're gonna cover, and they were getting upset. So, but before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the reuse, redistribution, and modification of this podcast by anyone and everyone except by governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. And it looks like it's guys' night tonight. No,
where's Derica?
No Derica, no Mark, no Crystal. Just us and the two viewers. What's up, guys?
What up?
Whoever's out there.
Hello, audience.
So, how are you guys doing tonight? I already know how Justin's doing. Justin's naked and pissed off, so
he's always naked and pissed off.
That's
my secret, Cap. I'm always naked.
Yeah, right. At least he's not in the Uber tonight, talking to the fucking Uber driver and shit all wasted, drunk.
Fuck me, if I would have been in an Uber, I would have got arrested. By the way, I got arrested last weekend.
This is true.
Yeah,
so let's hear about it.
All right, so here's the deal. I was at a bar last night. I met out with some friends. Went out, had a few drinks, had a good time. Was like, hey, you know what? Don't drive home. That shit's bad. That's irresponsible. Be a good dude and walk home. I only live a half mile from the bar. I'm like, dude, half mile? No big deal. So I start walking. Mind my own business. Just walking. And all of a sudden, Duluth's finest come up on me from behind with their headlights off at 1:30 in the morning.
Yep.
No headlights. I didn't even know they were there.
Safety first.
They rolled up on me. Jumped out of the car like I was some kind of goddamn criminal.
Right.
And they were like, yo, where you going? Home, sir. Where you come from? I was out with some friends, sir. Have you been drinking tonight? Yes, sir, I had a few. Oh, we can get you for drunk in public. Are you serious? Like, this is really happening?
Right.
And, they grabbed me and put me on the car, on the hood, face down, kind of rough, I mean, you would have thought I was carrying a fucking bag of Skittles in a goddamn Arizona iced tea.
Yo.
Just saying.
Dangerous, stumbly criminals.
Long story short, I got arrested. They put me in cuffs. They took me to jail. I spent 15 hours in the fucking clink.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you got to bail out. That shit happened quick.
It's like you can't fucking win with that shit because it's like you drive, you get a DWI, you walk home, you get fucking drunk in public. So it's like they fuck you either way. So it's like you're not even supposed to drink or even like enjoy yourself at all.
I mean, I'm 35, dude. I'm a grown man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm the same age.
Apparently, you can't be a grown man in the United States.
I guess not, dude.
No, what it is that they figured out that they can't ban alcohol. So they're like, well, we can't ban alcohol. We can just make it basically impossible to enjoy it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
like you just have to stay at home.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they told me. Like, oh, you could have just stayed at home. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like,
right?
That's a real statement. Like, you just stay at home. Yeah, sure. I mean, keep my lights off. Don't run the water.
Yeah.
And stay at home and drink. That's not depressing at all.
Right? Seriously,
like,
dude.
It's like if you drive home, they get you for a DUI, right? And then they throw you in jail and all that. And you got to pay for prints, and you got to pay for a lawyer and all the court costs and then the fines, right? But if you walk home, you don't have to be drunk, right? I mean, all you have to do is be tipsy a little bit enough to fail their field sobriety test. So if you walk drunk home, they arrest you. You get fines and tickets and all this other BS, right? But if you take an Uber or a taxi, they still fine you but through taxes on the cost of your Uber ride or your taxi.
People wonder why I hate cops.
Yeah.
People wonder. They're like, "Hey, dude, why do you hate cops so much?" I'm like, "Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you a little story about how I got arrested for walking home. Let me tell you a little story
and
about how
arrested for walking home drunk, less than half a mile.
I was
Well,
a mile.
And how you might lose your job for it.
Oh yeah, no. Dan and Andrew and whoever else is watching right now. I don't know if we talked about this last time. It's been a while since I've been on the Anarchy Amongst Friends Roundtable discussion podcast, which I love doing, by the way. I really do. This is probably one of my most favorite things to do every other Sunday. But
other than church,
I have a job.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm about to say something that's going to really upset all the anarchists. I have a job, and it's a government job.
Oh man.
Oh hell.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh shit.
It's okay. It's literally the least offensive government job that could exist.
Oh yeah.
He's a firefighter.
Yeah, that's okay though. The firefighter thing's cool.
Yeah, but it's voluntary, so.
Well, I still get paid through taxation, which is theft, obviously, and that's
yeah, but at the same time, you think about it, in a voluntary society, people are still going to pay for fucking fire service.
That's how I justify it. That's how I do it. I say, hey, I'm an anarchist. Why can I do this job and still think it's okay? Oh, because in a voluntary society, fire service would be totally a market demand.
Of course, absolutely.
It's not like you're a fire inspector.
I'm not,
right? Or a fire marshal, which would be out there actually writing tickets and stuff.
Dude, and that's like one of the things. Like the fire marshal's office is technically part of my department, but it's not in the same like job like at all. Like none of the firefighters, none of the Jakes go out there and write tickets. None of them. They don't do that shit.
No.
We're too busy fucking fighting fires.
Yeah, it's not your job to police. It's like your job to respond.
Exactly. And so I'm gonna lose my job because I got arrested.
Maybe not.
Probably.
Positive thinking, asshole. We already talked about this.
But see, this is why I've always had more respect for firefighters than police, is because firefighters just respond to their fucking job. You know what I mean? Cops are out there looking for fucking to generate revenue. There's a huge difference.
And arresting people for walking home from the bar instead of driving.
Like if you had a private security force or private police force that was policing a community, and they had a responsibility to the paying customer of that community, they're not going to fucking act like that and do stupid shit that's like completely unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like if anything, they'd be like, "You need a ride home," like whatever, you know?
Exactly. Vigilantism is always a better option than state policing.
Oh, absolutely.
Vigilante all the things.
Vigilante all the things, yes.
Anywhoomst, so I've spent the last 19 weeks-ish in the fire academy, getting my ass kicked every fucking goddamn day. Love it. I love it. But the shit is not easy at all.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance by the time we do this podcast again, I won't be in the fire department anymore. Because I got arrested while in a student status.
That's retarded, man.
I mean, I've got a lawyer. I paid a lot of money to get a lawyer.
Yep.
Try to fight
because you did the responsible thing and not drive drunk.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
so you get punished for it.
Yeah.
Well, what they don't understand, it's that whole thing is that law of unintended consequences, right? Where we don't want you to be drunk in public, so then you think, all right, well then if they don't want me to be drunk in public, but I got to get from the bar to home, then I got to do that as fast as possible, and the way I'm going to do that is in my car.
Yeah.
You know what somebody, actually, not just somebody, but like a couple of people, you know what a couple of people have actually said to me? Well, maybe you just shouldn't have gone out that night.
How the fuck were you going to know? Like, how are you going to know that the cops are going to roll up on you and shit? Like, you know?
Well, no, not like the cops might have rolled up on me, but hey, don't be an adult and go out and have fun. Don't do it.
Well, of course.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
Be
go
a square.
out.
Be a square, man.
No Saturday night shenanigans.
How dare you think that you are allowed to be happy ever in the land of the free?
Right?
Yeah.
I looked at these people. I was like, what?
Yep. The big question, the really big question, Justin, I want to ask is, did you thank the police for their service?
No, what I did was I asked them for the goddamn badge numbers.
There you go.
Vector 1269, Briggs 1111. I got your numbers. It's all good.
Bastards. Yeah, and perfect segue because
dude,
Dan,
don't do it.
I have to, Justin. I have to bring this up because
fucking don't do it.
Yeah.
All right, I have to bring the subject up. This past Thursday, the 5th, you guys.
What's up, cockknockers?
Hey.
There he is.
What's up, Captain Echo?
That's right. Well, I'm on the speakerphone in my truck because
You're always on the speakerphone in your goddamn truck. Always.
somebody switched up our nights.
No, nobody switched up the nights. Damn it.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it last week. Oh well, that's all right. I'm here now.
Jericho wasn't available last week, so we did it the week before, and now she's not here this week either.
Yep.
So
I'm heartbroken by that.
So either okay, all right. This past Thursday, the 5th, was the 7th anniversary of the Kelly Thomas beating. I know you guys know this, but for the listeners that don't know this, Kelly Thomas was a homeless schizophrenic man in Southern California who was arrested or who.
Hey, Mark, can you mute your audio?
Yeah, mute your audio, Mark. Mute your audio.
All right. Hold on, I'm working on it.
There we go. So Kelly Thomas was a homeless schizophrenic man that was sleeping on a bench. Somebody called the police and said, "Hey, I saw this guy that was jiggling car handles." The police responded, and Kelly, being a schizophrenic, reacted to that, as anybody with mental illnesses would. And the cops...
As anybody with any illness would.
Yeah, and the cops spent the next 28 minutes beating him with batons, trying to get him to, quote, stop resisting. There's audio and video of it. It's available on YouTube, and it will, if you can stomach it. But he said, "Dad, help me! They're killing me." He said that 31 times. He said, "Sir, please, okay, 30 times." He said, help me, God," 26 times, and he said, "I'm sorry," 15 times during the beating.
Yeah, well, they smashed his fucking face in.
3 broken ribs, broken jaw, cracked skull, and his nose was all dented in, and just they beat the shit out of this kid, right?
Yeah, it's fucking heart-wrenching to even hear that shit, dude. Like,
by the time they were done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Completely unrecognizable. As a result of this, several officers were fired from the department for violation of
They should have been put in fucking jail.
The 2 cops that went to trial were both found not guilty. Charges were dropped against the other.
Of course.
Of course they fucking were.
The beating happened in 2011. They were fired a few months later. In 2014 is when they were found not guilty of the murder. And now in 2018, 2 of the officers, Jason Silly and Joseph Wolf, who were both terminated in 2012 for the confrontation with Thomas at Fullerton Transportation Center, July 5th, 2011. They are suing to get their job back, plus back pay.
Fuck that shit.
They believe that the firing violated their union laws.
Fuck unions while we're at it.
Yeah, word.
Mark, I love Mark.
Yeah, so this is from the OCR, which is the Orange County Register.
Mark
Nearly
comes out
7
of
years
nowhere
after
with the
transit,
wrecking ball.
Kelly Thomas was killed in an encounter with the police. 2 former officers involved in the incident are waging an ongoing legal battle to get their jobs back with the Fullerton Police Department, in
Fuck that
addition to retroactive pay.
Dude,
Oh,
the audacity of these scumbags, like,
Yeah.
you know, it just blows my fucking mind that you can kill somebody in fucking cold blood and then ask for your job back.
No, sue for your job back.
With 2 years vacation pay, too. That's fucking
Shit,
awesome.
right? Like, on top of it.
But I mean, remember, not only are we talking about that they were acquitted, but they were acquitted because they were cops. That was the only reason that they were acquitted. Like, that was acquittal.
If it was the 4 of us beating the shit out of somebody like that, we'd all be in fucking jail for like life.
Yep. Okay.
If it was the 4 of us walking home from the bar, we'd all be in fucking jail.
This is
a
good point.
Yeah,
to bring it back home.
Yeah, in the case that drew national headlines and prompted scrutiny of police use of force against the mental ill, Thomas was placed in custody while police looked into whether he had stealing small items. A struggle, that's an understatement, a struggle ensued and he suffered a compressed trachea and broken bones in his face and died 5 days later.
Wow.
Do you know how fucking goddamn hard it is to close somebody's windpipe?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just not easy, okay? I work in the medical field, kind of, sort of. I'm an EMT barely. I see all kinds of heinous shit. Car accidents, fucking beatings. Do you know how goddamn hard it is to shut somebody's fucking trachea down?
Yeah.
It's not easy, okay?
It takes a lot of force.
You don't just tap somebody in the throat and collapse their windpipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cartilage.
It's tough tissue, okay?
Yeah.
It's not. Jason and I didn't want to do this tonight. Like,
a jury in 2014 acquitted Sincelli and a second officer who was also fired of wrongdoing, while charges were later dropped against Wolf. The city's then police chief still determined that they had violated department policy. On Friday, Judge David Caffey heard lawyers' arguments in Sincelli's case and took the matter under submission. The judge indicated that it would take a few months for the ruling. Chafe also heard arguments in Wolf's case earlier this month and has not yet ruled. In regard to Sincelli's case, his lawyer, Zach Lopez, said that the officer had an exemplary record during his 13 years in the department and deserves his job back.
Sure.
An exemplary record right up until he beat that mentally ill man to death.
Oh,
yeah, right?
Right?
It gets better. It gets better.
Me, man. Are you serious? Yeah.
Quote, it was pretty clear that neither the city nor the city council could put forth any compelling argument persuading the court that the city council was not unconstitutionally biased against my client.
What? Biased against the dude for committing murder on video?
Yeah, but he's got a fucking special costume and a badge.
And that's the thing is they were the ruling, like, didn't it specifically said that it was professional privilege?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
If you're a state enforcer, you can beat anybody you want to death, and then you fucking get off the hook. You get paid leave usually.
Yeah, that happened here in La Crosse a few years ago. A chick cop was doing over 100 miles an hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone on a road that is known to be pretty dangerous, with her lights going but no siren at all, and he plowed into a 16-year-old girl and killed her instantly, and she was responding to a bar fight that was already over and was found not guilty because she was doing something as a cop.
Yep. In 2015, the city of Fullerton agreed.
Let this be a lesson about women drivers. Just saying. For the record.
He did not just go there.
In 2015, the city of Fullerton
agreed. Where did Mark come from?
4.9.
He's coming out of nowhere and like, yo.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mark.
The city paid $4.9 million to Thomas's father and another $1 million to his mom in wrongful death lawsuits.
Dude, Mark just fucking made my day, dude.
basically, I mean, everybody agrees that what they did was wrong, except for the jury, who only said that what they did wasn't wrong purely because they had badges, even though their own department says that what they did was wrong, and fired them, and now they're going, oh, well, we deserve our jobs back, and, by the way, taxpayers who are probably going to murder again, you need to pay us for all that time we didn't have a job.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, 6 years without a job at a cop's salary is going to be quite a penny.
Yeah.
And 2 cops at this point in time, so that would be just the fact that they have the audacity to even entertain the idea of trying to get their jobs back should rule them incapable of ever carrying a badge again.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, though, Jason. Andrew already
No,
said
it's
it.
not.
They're fucking magic, dude. It's fucking magic. It's sorcery. Okay? You put on. Okay, you walk into the bathroom.
The sacred talisman that they wear.
Yeah,
Yep.
You walk into a bathroom with fucking slacks and a fucking pair of Jordans on, and you come out wearing the costume with the fucking shield, and the next thing you know, you can literally get away with murder.
Yep. It's called moral transmutation.
That's all it is. You can fucking get away with murder.
What I can't do, they can do because they wear a different fucking costume.
Well, yeah, they got the magic talisman and the sacred color, and
Well,
they
I'm pretty sure that badge is like plus 300 to persuasion or something.
Right?
True, very
Plus
true.
300 persuasion, minus 1,000 for courtesy.
Minus 750 on
Negative intelligence.
Well,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Goodbye,
The Supreme Court has ruled that police departments have the right to deny employment to high IQ individuals.
Yep.
I mean, that's like 15 years ago. That's old.
Yeah, I could never be a cop. I mean, just
That's
under moral reasons, but just because I'm too intelligent to be a cop. So
They'd never hire any of this.
no way, dude. I'd fucking investigate the whole entire police department and blow the fucking whistle on them.
Dan,
Are you kidding me?
Dan.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to say, inside every cop, there's a fireman who just couldn't pass the fucking test.
Mark, you don't mean that. Take that shit back, all right? Hey, what's one thing that cops and firefighters have in common?
What's that?
They both want to be firefighters.
Hey, you know, I was a paramedic because even cops need heroes.
That's
right.
Don't forget it.
Yes.
Don't forget it.
Most of the people that I know that are like corrections officers, they're all people that tried out to be fucking state troopers and couldn't hack it. And I'm like, it's kind of...
corrections has to be the lowest of the low, man. Like if you were the shit that shit took. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were the shit that shit took, you're a corrections officer. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
I'm going to go ahead and order the people who are already shackled and in cages around.
I mean, right? God damn,
yeah, dude.
Like,
Apollo says that vigilantism and neighborhood watches are the only viable alternatives.
Yes. And
check this out. I have a perfect.
Where did that come from, Jason?
That's from the quotes or from the comments. Apollo.
Yeah.
From our comments or from the Kelly Thompson comments?
No, from the YouTube comments.
Oh. I'm driving. I'm sorry, man.
So to Apollo, yes, that is exactly what I want. Vigilantism and neighborhood/community watches.
Check this out. I have a perfect fucking Carl Hess quote to tie in with this. It says,
"You have a Carl Hess quote, Dan."
I have 2 of them actually. It says, "To survive, the people in neighborhoods are going to have to secede." And then the other one is, "The most revolutionary thing you can do is get to know your neighbors."
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fucking yes and yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the thing that bears mentioning here with that whole thing with the Kelly Thomas verdict and everything is, imagine for a minute if instead of those uniforms being cop uniforms, those were army uniforms, and instead of him being an American citizen, imagine he's just some guy on the street in Baghdad, and then that gets caught on video, and his pleas and his cries get caught on video. Do you honestly believe that those soldiers would be let go?
No.
That would
Nah,
never
they'd be in
happen.
Leavenworth.
It
Yeah,
would
no, they'd
never
be
happen.
court-martialed, dude. They'd be
They'd be in
court-martialed.
Leavenworth right now.
They'd be
Yeah.
court-martialed in a heartbeat. They wind up in Lebanon and would shed a fucking tear, especially not their fellow soldiers, because you motherfucker. And how is it that the guys who are literally paid to kill people have higher standards about killing people than the people who are supposed to supposedly protect everyone?
Yeah.
Dude, those
Right?
dudes in
The
Afghanistan.
so-called the public servants.
Those dudes in Afghanistan with 2-1 Marines who pissed on a dead fucking insurgent
Yeah.
all went to fucking prison.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, shit. Look at Haditha. Look at what happened to those guys in Haditha. I mean, they didn't walk away from that. Every single one of them wound up in prison.
Yeah.
So check this out. I have another Carl Hess quote that ties in with this now.
Send it. I love Carl Hess. Send it.
It says, "It's curious to note that when, for reasons of conscience, people refuse to kill, they are often exempted from active military duty. But there are no exemptions for people who, for reasons of conscience, refuse to financially support the bureaucracy that actually does the killing. Apparently, the state takes money more seriously than life."
Well, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bravo on the Carl Hess. I'm glad you're finally getting into him.
Oh, dude, I've always loved Carl Hess, man.
Carl Hess.
I will say though, I don't think it's so much of a money thing as just a general power, control of power.
Yeah,
but money and power are related, but not exclusive.
Exactly.
Or, not exclusive.
It's like a means to an end.
All right.
Yeah,
because ultimately those people at the top of the fucking, pyramid or whatever you want to call it, they're not so much about money. They're about the fucking use of money as a means to power, to be able to buy people off and
to control the actions. Bloomberg, we talked about this before with Mike Bloomberg. Mike Bloomberg talked about how taxation of poor people is good because it forces poor people to do certain things with their money that they deemed, being Bloomberg and the other elitists, that they deemed as good for them. That was on the last episode of me and Jerica. Bloomberg defending taxation as a means of controlling people because when you limit people's money, when you limit how much money they have, then you can control the things that they can do.
Yeah. Well, that's the basic means behind communism and socialism, because it kills the human drive for fucking to ascend the economic ladder, because there isn't one.
Yep.
So it's easier to control people if you keep everybody at a fucking base level all the same, and they have no drive to compete or fucking drive society upwards because there is no means to do so. So it's you just kill the ambition.
Absolutely. So let's circle back around to.
You got no time when you're standing in the bread lines.
Exactly, dude. Right?
Fucking goddamn right.
Venezuela.
Well, I would say
Venezuela, by the way, just sent in military to the towns to enforce pricing control.
Oh, of course.
So.
I was talking to this piece of shit helicopter bait about socialism the other day. It might have been the
helicopter bait
this morning. I don't fucking know. But this chick, and she's not bad looking. I don't fucking remember her name. Some fucking Hispanic name. Just won a fucking representative seat in New York.
Yeah.
The socialist chick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Admittedly socialist. And I was like, socialism is one of the worst things that human beings have ever created in order to control the people. And then this person's like, oh, well, real socialism has never been tried.
Of
I'm
course,
like, okay,
they always
yeah.
fucking say that.
No, hey, cool, hey, good, right on.
Hey,
real socialism has never been tried. Guess what?
Real capitalism has never been tried either.
Yes, Jason, I was getting there.
Well, we got
real
close.
Capitalism has never been tried. Not even
we got close, and the United States boomed into the fucking most prosperous nation in the fucking world.
Real socialism has caused people in Venezuela to lose an average of 16 pounds. People that don't have any weight to fucking
16
lose.
pounds a year, yeah.
People that don't have any weight to lose. People that are already skin and bones lost 16 pounds, and they're eating their fucking pets.
Yep.
Their cats.
They killed a zebra in the zoo with rocks.
Yeah, dude, this is what happens. This is what happens time and time again under socialism and communism, is that they can never supply food to the fucking masses, and then the people end up fucking starving either to death or they resort to cannibalism because that's like the end line.
Because socialism and communism, their economic models, they reward laziness.
Yeah, exactly.
And chastise advancement.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Right?
It's not the people. It's the very, very few elite people that know better that want to rule over everybody else, and they want to control everything that everybody else does. And so, like, Stalin wasn't skinny; he was fat.
No, they ate caviar and shit, dude, while everybody's fucking starved.
Exactly. They have a video of the president of Venezuela, Murado, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Maduro?
Eating a fucking empanada.
Yeah, an empanada on national TV.
Like, these people are starving to death. This dude's fat as fuck. And he's like, oh, let me just eat this fucking fried dish that involves flour tortilla and some meat. I love it.
Yeah.
Shit's delicious.
Apollo says real communism has never been tried because it's legit defined as a utopia, actually. Yes, it is. Socialism, communism, anarchism, republicanism, democracy, feudalism, capitalism, free market, laissez-faire. It's all utopian. So
yeah, I mean, I like SpongeBob SquarePants too. That's one of my favorite cartoons. Yeah, I like fantasy lands and make-believe and shit that's not real also. Like, yeah, totally.
Yep.
Almost socialism, not real socialism, has caused some of the most heinous suffering and death that the world has ever seen, and yet almost capitalism, not true capitalism, not even real capitalism, has caused such a system of excess and thrivation, which is a word I just made up. Thank you. Go ahead and quote me on it.
Urban Dictionary, here we come.
Right.
Almost capitalism has caused such a fucking system of excess privation that poor people are fat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor people are fat.
Yeah.
In an almost.
I'm poor.
Society.
I'm fat.
I'm poor as fuck.
Well, there's another point to that could be made with the industrial food system. But I'm not going to start on that one. But a funny point about capitalism here in Maryland. One of the candidates running for I don't know something, and Jason and Dan will tell you I don't watch the news, I don't read the newspaper, I get all my information from like social media. But this guy actually in his thinking ad for Congress or whatever he's running for says if you like Bernie Sanders, you feel that he just wasn't socialist enough and want to give real socialism a try. Vote Jerome Spiegel.
Bernie's not socialist enough, is what you're saying. Bernie's not socialist enough.
Right. It's fucking great. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm fucking. This was a radio ad. I'll try and find it and post a link to it. But
oh my god.
It's like these people are doubling down, like, oh well, he wasn't enough, so I'm gonna go fucking full bore over here.
Dude, I love that.
You know what I mean?
I get these arguments all the time on Facebook. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump very much as a person. I think he's really smart. I think that he is the fucking troll god of all trolls. This fucking dude.
he's a total troll, dude. He's like a living meme.
Fucking troll. I fucking
he's
love
a living
him.
meme.
He's a living, breathing meme. I love it.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to a good one, you guys. Let's move on to capitalism and strippers.
What Mark just said what Mark just said about
Yeah, strippers. Let's move on to strippers. Let's
Well, and
definitely do that.
Kapistan has fucking plenty of blackjack and hookers, and probably lots of cocaine
okay,
too.
this is from
I mean,
this is from the Charlotte Observer. And it's
Yeah,
quote:
Charlotte.
"We got bills to pay, sweetie. Cops forced to return strippers $19,934 in cash."
Are we talking about civil asset forfeiture?
Yes, it's
You know it.
it's the good side because they won, not the police won. So okay.
He said it's the good side.
Yeah, Miami-Dade police is on the hook for legal bills after cops illegally seized a cache of guns and nearly $20,000 in stripper cash. The department has agreed to pay
of
guns and nearly $20,000 in stripper cash.
guns.
It literally says stripper cash.
Stripper cash.
Stripper
Is that
cash.
like,
It says
is that like
says
ass?
stripper cash.
It
Is that
is.
like
It
singles
was
that have been in
stripper
like
cash.
chicks asses and shit?
There's a quote later. The
Yep.
department has agreed to pay more than $3,000 to defense lawyers hired by Race Katz, 33, and his wife, whose name I will not try to pronounce because it will hurt my tongue, a 20-year-old stripper at the Cheetah Gentlemen's Club in Hollandale Beach. Presumably,
She worked at Cheetahs?
Yes. Presumably,
Yeah,
the legal bill will not.
He's like, I've been there.
Everybody goes to Cheetahs, man. Everybody does it at least once.
I can say I've never been there, so.
On May 25th, an officer pulled over Cates and Batista, his passenger, when their car cut off a patrol car in Miami's West Little River neighborhood. From the car, patrol officers seized 6 guns, 3 of them assault-style rifles, plus the cash, suspected marijuana oil, several bottles of powerful codeine cough syrup without a valid prescription. Miami-Dade police touted the arrest to local TV stations, showing off photos of the guns.
Fucking heroes,
Yeah.
man. Goddamn heroes.
No, it gets better. It gets so much better, you guys. Quote,
They're
it's amazing
heroes.
how
They're real
sometimes
heroes.
as simple as a traffic stop can lead us to crack a lot of cases. A police spokesman told WFOR CBS 4, quote,
What
a
fucking
lot of
case
serial
did they
killers,
crack?
quote, a lot of serial killers are behind bars or traffic stops.
Sure, yeah.
Quote,
Ted Bundy
yeah.
was fucking totally caught because he got fucking arrested.
yeah.
Fucking running off a cop car.
Just hold on.
Codeine and 3 assault rifles.
Hold on.
Yeah,
They didn't even test the codeine. They don't know if it's codeine because they didn't test it.
Oh, my bad.
The couple was charged with armed drug dealing among
outta
other
here.
felony charges, but defense lawyers immediately challenged the arrest. Quote, what is most disturbing is immediately following the arrest, the department went on TV and engaged in incendiary speculations without knowing the facts or even acknowledging the rampant violations of my client's constitutional rights. The defense attorney, Judge Fasadimo, said. Faced with defense evidence, prosecutors quickly moved to dismiss the case. Cates told the cops he legally owned the weapons and had a valid concealed weapons permit. The story checked out. And body camera footage showed that an officer, while friendly with Cates, never got permission to search the trunk, but instead demanded the defendant to pop the trunk. So the search of the trunk was illegal, prosecutor Jonathan Noble said in a memo explaining the state defined by the charges. Who possessed the drugs or possibly illegal codeine syrup was never clear either, prosecutor said. Neither Cates nor Batista admitted who owned the marijuana, and whether the syrup was actually codeine or not was unclear because Miami-Dade police never took the liquid to forensics lab for testing.
So what you're saying is that these 2 young ladies who
Lady
did nothing
and her
more
boyfriend.
than provide a service, they were
Yes.
caught walking home from the bar.
Yes.
No, they were driving. It was a traffic stop.
Yeah.
No, that's my point, Dan, is that I wasn't driving. I got arrested for walking.
Oh.
Ah,
Miami-Dade Police Department's legal bureau, suspecting it was dope money, asked the civil court judge to allow the department to keep the $19,934
that pussy
in the car.
was so good. That pussy was so good. They thought it was dope money.
Yeah.
They thought
The
it was
department
dope
said a Miami-Dade police dog, Roxy, alerted to the cash has been, quote, in close proximity to large amounts of narcotics. But at the hearing, a fellow stripper named Haley Heath testified that her friend Batista earned, quote, significant cash tips at the cheetah club. Quote, I felt that the glitter on the seized cash was compelling evidence. But apparently the police department disagreed, said defense lawyer. Miami-Dade Judge Rodney Smith agreed that there was no probable cause for seizure and ordered the money returned to the couple.
You do know that like 1/4 of every fucking $100 bill in circulation, which there's trillions of them.
Allegedly,
25% of $100 bills have residue of cocaine.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because that's the only way to snort fucking blow. Unless you're a plebeian fucking douchebag.
Right?
Yep.
And you do it on a key. Do your cocaine like a man. Snort it through your nose with a rolled up Benjamin, okay?
Ballin'.
And you do it off of off a chainsaw bayonet.
Yeah, do it off
like a real band.
Do it off a 20-year-old stripper's ass. Come on now.
I can't believe.
Or off of a stripper's ass.
These young ladies were out there working their asses off, literally.
Literally.
Made $19,000 in tips.
Yeah.
Wow.
I full on fucking believe it, especially Cheetos and just
Cheetos.
Because I know some strippers, like they friggin'
and I bet you that some of those bills were picked up with their pussy. I bet you some of those bills were picked up with their pussy too.
that alone.
He's working their way through school. Come on. Come on.
Those are aspiring nurses, sir, and I do not
for fuck's sakes.
You've all seen
dental hygienist.
Let me tell you something about nurses too, and Justin can probably attest to this one.
CNA, brother, CNA.
They're just a fucking stripper in scrubs.
Hey, I'm not saying that nurses are slutty, but nurses are pretty slutty.
The best part is my ex-wife is a fucking CNA.
I've spent enough time in hospitals.
Or if she's an RN or a nurse practitioner, she's probably got more standards. But if she's a CNA, man, everything is okay.
I've spent enough time in hospitals to know that those scrubs.
The bar has been set low.
To the imagination.
Yeah. Well, there's that one picture of like that group of all those freshly graduated CNAs together. I did a meme that said, "You think that it's awkward when they're at work get-togethers and they yell 8 and all of their sons come running?"
Oh man!
How true is that?
Thank God, only like 3 people are watching this show because I would get so fucking in trouble.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're down to 3.
Hate and discontent is our specialty. Come on.
I know.
Jericho's not here. We got to have a little fun.
The end of this episode is we're gonna
Dude, our motto for the show. Our motto for the show is like, our comfort zone is making the comforted uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Hey, look, I always tell people, we don't do it for them. We do it for us.
Exactly.
No shit.
That's how it should always be.
If we live near each other, there'd be a blunt going one way and a bottle going the other. We'd be sitting around a campfire talking about the same fucking shit.
A, man.
Cracking on.
My favorite part about this show. My favorite part about the show is riling up Dan about the Jake feud.
Don't get me started, bro.
No, don't get me fucking started, bro.
I'll start rubbing my shekels together.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Shlomo. Don't do it.
Dan's gonna start dancing. My shekels bring all the juice to the yard.
The most dangerous.
They'll get so hot they'll melt like steel beams, bro.
Oh, dude. I used to be a firefighter like 48 hours ago. Okay.
Dude.
Like 48 hours ago.
I've learned about all kinds of fucking fire science, physics, and shit about how steel beams can melt because of shekels.
Of course. It's magic.
It's fucking magic, dude. No,
Ask Larry Silverstein.
Larry Silverstein and Steinenbergerstein.
Well, I mean, he took out like what was it, a 99-year insurance policy that covered fucking like
$7 trillion or something.
Yeah, like double payout if it was a terrorist attack, like 6 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
Like that's not
like a month and a half before the
Man, that guy's like the luckiest person ever. How?
Right?
What are the odds?
Oh, I call that a
fucking odds.
I call that a coincidence. COHEN.
Coincidence.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who was killed by the Jews?
Oh
my God.
That's also true.
I am totally going to find out something bad about Hillary Clinton later. Oh my God.
Have you seen the meme of the old man from Pawn Stars that just died, where he's like, I just paid like $7,000, or you just paid $7,000 for something, and he's like, yeah, it's information that'll lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
John, I love it. Like anarchists and meme makers, man, you guys got no chill. I love it. Like
You can't
have chill, man.
There's
no
such thing as too soon.
Oh no.
Hell no.
You know that one meme, like with the car, like the car salesman slapping the roof of the car thing that's been going around.
Yeah, I love that meme.
I have one. I posted one earlier today. It was Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Oh,
and it
no!
Fucking said car salesman, and on her it said roof of the car.
No further.
I was like, yo, this is like over the line.
There's no line. There's no line.
People loved it though.
This one's my favorite so far. It's about the LP, and it's Bill Weld slaps the Liberty Party. This bad boy can fit so many Hillary supporters.
Don't get me started on the Libertarian
I think I'll find it again, but it was the same thing. Libertarian Party slaps the roof of it. This bad boy can fit so many fucking dumpster fires in it.
Seriously, dude. The Libertarian Party, in and of itself, is like a total shit show, man.
It's a meme. It's a
somebody's got to do one with Kokesh slapping it, like the empty Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, dude, I've seen so many fucking great Kokesh memes.
How sad is it that he might be like it's between him and Bill Weld. Like it's literally between him and Bill Weld for the LP nominee.
We can twice on Sunday before I vote for Bill Weld. Are you fucking kidding me right now? The dude got blowies in a fucking minivan in a fucking Walmart parking lot. God bless him.
You know, I as much as I have reason to dislike Kokesh, the fact that he racked a fucking shotgun with a live round on the mall in DC, dude.
Right.
I don't trust him though. I think he's honestly controlled opposition, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, Jason can attest to this. At one point in time, when I first became an anarchist, I challenged Austin Peterson to a fucking mutual combat duel to the death. And
no, he did. He posted like he would post a status on Facebook like once a week, challenging Austin Peterson. It would tag Austin Peterson
to a duel. I said, let's go heels, 10 paces and turn, motherfucker. Because Austin Peterson said something about how I don't subscribe to the NAP. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking piece of shit sadist, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, communism happened. I started reading some Hans Hermann Hoppe. I started looking at buying a helicopter. I might
Pull it up, baby.
Can we crowdsource the purchase of a helicopter already? Because I feel like a lot of us kind of have some uses for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of expensive, but it's a good investment. It's got a lot of good return. It's reusable because there's a lot of comics out there.
It's green.
They all need a boarding pass. But no, I like Austin Peterson said something. He didn't say it, probably tweeted it or Facebooked it or whatever. a few months ago, and I was like, God damn it, I can't believe I almost shot and killed this man in a fucking mutual combat duel because I'm really good with a gun. And I mean, I'm sure he is too, but I'm really good. But he said, we need to stop this whole protection of the Second Amendment bullshit. We need to stop trying to reduce the number of restrictions. We need to expand the number of freedoms. Fully automatic weapons, destructive devices, tactical McNukes. Let's go get all of it. Austin Peterson, man. He's running as a Republican. Like Donald Trump, dude. Donald Trump's not a Republican. I mean, not anybody that ever used to be a neocon like I was knows it. Dude's not a Republican. He's a fucking liberal.
Yeah, he was always a New York Democrat.
He was always a New York Democrat. He's 60 fucking years long a New York Democrat. The dude's older than my grandmother.
Yeah.
Huh.
But, like, that's what communists will do to you. Like, they will fucking change you. Like, I was like, hey, man, let's, like, grow food and shit. Let's go live on a fucking homestead somewhere in fucking Wyoming, Let's just, like, do our own thing and, like, live and let live. There ain't no fucking live and let live with the left. There's not. You can't.
They're relentless.
They are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill you.
And if they're not trying to kill you, they're trying to socially engineer you to fucking, meet your
kill
own
yourself.
fucking destruction. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So you know how you deal with that kind of shit? The same way you do with polio. You fucking exterminate it. You vaccinate it. And then you get autism because the whole thing is cancer, man. Like, I don't even know, dude. I'm getting ready to go to work in the morning. I'm going back to the state. I'm going back to the county. And, I pray to whatever gods you believe in. I pray to them that when I wake up in the morning, I still have a job.
Because of the state, because you chose to walk home instead of drive drunk.
Yeah, I mean that's really where all this long rant about Austin Peterson and Tombstone and
eBay has a Bell helicopter for $850,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
How much?
That's actually not terrible.
$850,000.
Yeah,
50.
Yep.
Refueling is going to be the real issue.
Yeah,
but what was I going to say? I think we should really go for the gusto here if we're going to fucking crowdsource, crowdfund something and just go straight fucking balls to the wall and get a fucking ANCAP Space Force going on.
calling them armed before they get there, and when they show up, just be like, "Oh, hey, bitches, stop."
We can just like fucking drop fucking commies from like low Earth orbit into the ocean or something.
Oh, look, they're glowing red. I bet they're happy about that.
I'm telling you guys are wasting such a valuable resource. Just soil it, right? SOYLET, right? Just turn it into soil it and let them eat their own. And
no, it doesn't
there
work.
you go.
Green is people, and communists aren't people. So
that Andrew's got a good point. Communists are not people.
They're like juggling. They're not.
I'm a voluntarist, so like literally everybody is a commie to me.
My favorite part about the left-right paradigm is when people are like, "Oh, you're right wing. You must be a conservative." I'm like, "No, bitch. The right is. I'm so fucking goddamn far right that to go left, I'll take 3 right-hand turns." Okay.
That's the best shit I heard in a long time.
Dirk says that sorry we missed you guys. They were putting up the fence today. They're almost done, and she would join us, but she still has a house full of people eating pizza. So
put them bitches on the podcast. I'm sure they have some good opinions and shit.
Hey, you guys, you're building a fence. You want to stop for a minute and fucking comment?
Yeah, let's talk about how communism fucking sucks.
All right, how about we talk about how a town in Mexico overthrew their local government?
Oh
yeah, there you go. Now we're talking.
Yes.
He's like yes.
Sorry, Justin, but this article's from Vice. 7 years ago.
Sometimes it slips through.
7 years ago, the people of Turin, a town of some 20,000 residents in the highlands of Mycocan, Michoacan.
You're cocking.
Mycocan.
Why are you talking about your cocking, Jason?
What are you putting your cock in?
Justin's naked. They're drinking and smoking. I gotta do something. I'm talking about Mycocan. Right. Out of 20,000 inhabitants in the highlands of Mycocan, one of the Mexico states worst affected by the drug wars of the last decade, decided it was time to start over. And now, after they kicked out the criminals, cops, and politicians,
All the same thing.
Things could be going better. The town had been terrorized for years by an organized crime syndicate devoted to illegally logging the surrounding forest. So after mobs drove out the criminals, they disarmed and drove out the corrupt cops who had been protecting them. They also banned the politicians along with the parties that put them in power. In their place, the people of Tehran developed an autonomous system of self-rule based on horizontal, direct democratic assemblies.
Don't like that.
Well,
we're just trading one bad for another. It just seems better at the time.
I would call it a move in the right direction. Now, armed men and women, not police, but members of an autonomous militia, guard every entrance to the town looking for strangers with contraband. At the height of the election season in Mexico, contraband mostly political campaign ads. Guards cultivated thousands of banners and posters for every major political party in Mexico in just a few weeks. These ads, along with the political partners that produce them, are completely banned in Turin and have been since 2007 when residents overthrew their local government and started over.
I mean, I'm pretty good with armed insurrection.
Yep. While it remains economically dependent on the existing government, Turin has achieved something unthinkable: a dramatic drop in murder rates, whose rates for other serious crimes hover at near zero.
Oh, you don't say. So vigilantism actually works. Okay, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who would have thought, right?
Color me shocked.
Yeah, who knew that if you actually legitimately had to worry about your next door neighbor blowing your head off because you robbed a store, that maybe you might never rob that fucking store?
I mean, I'm in shock right now.
Now, you just need to stop that, Andrew. That's some revolutionary thinking right there.
Right.
Or, an armed society is a polite society. I am a huge fan of what I call MAGs, mutual assistant groups, enhanced neighborhood watch.
Yep.
As the Carl Hess quote says, right, the most revolutionary act that you can do is to get to know your neighbors.
Yep.
Right. They are the people that you live with. They are your regional
your support group.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like your support network.
Absolutely, it's your support network. I mean, those are the people that you're going to see on a damn near daily basis.
Yep.
There's this British guy. His name is John. I forget what his last name is. But he started this private security company in like 2012, and he charges his clientele like the equivalent of like $8.
It's something. It was really, really inexpensive.
It's 12 pounds, so that should translate to like $23 and change, I think.
So Andrew knows.
Still, it's mad cheap.
Well, who's that dude in Detroit? Daryl, whatever his name is, that was doing that. Everybody in the Liberty circles was so hot about him until they found out he was, I don't know, maybe a little more of a supporter of the state than they could tolerate. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Jason?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got another message from Derica. But I feel like an asshole. Roast me while I'm gone.
Yeah, we're doing that.
You're goddamn right we are, sir.
There's my proof. It actually says roast me while I'm gone, okay?
Yeah, guess what?
There's proof.
I will say, though, that Derica is like the best hostess on the planet. Like, you go down there and like you'll want for nothing. Fucking home cooked meals, booze, hot tubs. She's got it all.
Well, that's why we're all gonna move out to Wyoming and fucking crowdsource a fucking land co-op and build a fucking Branch Davidian compound, and hopefully the ATF doesn't use goddamn tanks to murder us all. Because
Justin, you should know better. You should know better than that. Because the only thing that anarchists hate more than each other are the roads.
Exactly.
Or I said that backwards.
And the pores.
I mean, I hate fucking goddamn horse.
If we got to move someplace deep in the mountains, Justin. That's not in tank area.
Wyoming has mountains, dude.
No, so I've thought about this. I have a plan. The one hit that getting up is I need somebody really, really rich to fund it, but I have a plan. So
I hear Elon Musk is taking suggestions.
And that plan, and I realize this may be a revolutionary thing that no one's ever heard of before. We moved to Somalia.
Dude, are we gonna like invade Somalia?
Won't we get killed by the U.S. government's foreign?
Yeah, probably.
Not if you buy sufficient arms that are targeted towards aircraft. So what you do is you get a rich backers. You take a whole bunch of people who are already planning on, being self-sufficient, getting training, whatever else. You make some deals with local warlords, work things out with them, build fortifications and like a community, and you just set up there and you go, all right, well, you told us to move to Somalia. We're here now.
Can't we just take over?
There is some validity to Somalia actually being a shithole. You do know that, right?
Why don't we just move to Wyoming?
They got pirates, Mark. Pirates. You can be a pirate.
Yeah, do you know what's a pirate? I want to be a pirate.
But they're not like the peg-leg pirate parrots, right?
They could be.
They got machetes. We can get you a peg leg.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Man, we bring compasses. We go, no, these are better than your machetes.
True.
Dress them up.
Instead of buying like a bunch of arms, maybe we could just buy a bunch of Somalians.
Yeah, we could. We could just buy a whole bunch of Libyans.
It might
be. They have the open slave markets now, thanks to Obama and Hillary.
Oh man, don't get me started.
Well, that is like an Ancapistan paradise then, if you can have your own slaves, right?
Dude.
Voluntary.
Careful, Dan.
Don't drop the roads. It's not quite there yet.
Don't drop bombs, Dan. We don't want you to suicide.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just waiting for it.
Dan.
What up, brother?
So here's the deal. We move to Wyoming. We buy a bunch of land out there for fucking real cheap. We build a compound. We call it the Branch Davidian. And then we rename the town Somalia.
Now we're talking.
We've moved to Somalia.
And the capital will be Mogadishu.
Yes. We call it the Moog. Only square boots call it fucking Mogadishu. It's the Moog or
the Moog.
Yeah. It's Moog, man. It's just Moog.
That just ensures that we can't have a helicopter.
No,
why can't we have helicopters in Wyoming?
Hell yeah, we can.
Well, if it's Somalia, you can't have a helicopter because Black Hawk Down.
True. We don't want to go out like that.
It's compulsive. They're just like, oh my god, helicopter, bam, and then you crash. And
Exactly.
slaps the fucking tail rotor of the helicopter and says, this bad boy can toss so many commies. Fuck. I love that meme. It's such a fucking good meme. I used it earlier. Like I'm in this group chat with the guys from my fucking fire recruit class. God damn, I love it, man. Like I'm like super depressed that I'm gonna get fired for walking home and not driving drunk because I'm gonna get fired.
Okay,
I'm not driving drunk.
All right, we got a comment that asks why Branch Davidians? Why not call it Ruby Ridge?
There you go. Good point.
I actually, if I was going to do it here in the States, I actually want to call it Rebel Valley.
There you go.
We could have a Ruby Ridge.
Oh, if we're there, they're guaranteed to have Ruby Ridge.
Oh yeah.
Which is why all of the windows, you make sure they're nice, thick Lexan.
Right.
With
For God's sake,
four
don't hold any babies.
4-inch thick
right.
iron
Jesus
storm
Christ.
shutters.
Both
exactly.
Ruby Ridge and Waco really pissed me off, by the way.
I will
Oh,
call
yeah,
it.
dude.
I will
Not gonna
happily
lie.
call it Ruby Ridge if we get Lon Hirachi out there and we can take shots at him.
Yes.
Is Randy Weaver still
The
alive?
Lon Hirichi Memorial Outhouse.
Randy and his daughters are also alive. Yes.
We need to invite Randy to the podcast. If anybody knows how to get in contact with that gentleman, let me know, because I'd like to talk to him.
Is he in jail?
Judge said no.
No, he
No,
sued the
all
government
the
for like fucking $10 million or something crazy.
No shit.
Yeah, no, all of the charges, all of the weapons charges were dropped. It turned out that they couldn't prove jack.
Oh, of course, I know.
Nah,
I know.
He
tried to
sued.
frame
He
him.
sued.
Face to fucking kill his dog and his kids. You know?
Yeah, they tried to frame him and shit.
He sued the federal government. Randy got like $300,000. Each of the daughters got $1 million, and then Kevin Harrison later sued, and he got like $374,000 or something like that. All the charges.
It's still nothing. It's still nothing in comparison to losing your fucking child and your wife.
Seeing your mom shot while she's holding your infant daughter.
Yeah.
You know, okay. I gotta guys.
People
You guys
wonder
gonna
why I
make
hate
me
cops.
rant.
People-
The Bonner County DA actually brought charges against Lon Hirachi on manslaughter in 1994, which was 2 years after Ruby Ridge. Brought charges against Lon Hirachi, and
nothing
the
happened.
judge ruled, or the Fed stepped in, and the judge ruled that Lon Hirachi cannot be found guilty because of a clause in the Constitution that exempts federal agents from criminal charges in the pursuit of their jobs, the pursuit of their employment.
And this is what I have to say to that.
It's like Act 2, Clause 8 or something. I don't remember the number exactly, but
so murder a bunch of people, and as long as you say that I was just trying to do my job.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse than that. It gets
doing my
absolutely worse than
job.
that. No, it gets absolutely worse than that. March 1st, 1995, the 4 U.S. Marshals that were there, right, the ones that were initially doing the watch that shot Samuel Weaver, shot the dog, those marshals got the Marshal's Office highest awards for bravery.
Oh, of course.
Well, I mean,
for shooting kids and a dog, and
you shoot dogs, flashbang babies. That's a sure way to move up in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Salesman slaps this badge.
Yep.
This federal agent can shoot so many fucking dogs. I'm telling you.
That's it. Make it, Dan.
You know how many dogs
slap
this
it-
magazine
slap it a
can
badge.
take out?
Do you know how many dogs this federal agent can shoot? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, man. Like, so.
What breed of dog for you to kill while you are out hunting the American
It's like being
people?
rewarded for being the biggest pussy in the fucking world.
Exactly. That's what that is.
Well, that's kind of what being a cop is.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Don't
Well,
get me started.
that's what it's authoritarian communism.
So I was talking to my dad about this. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago, maybe even a little bit longer, about Oklahoma City and Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude's a goddamn fucking hero.
Well, that's
assuming McVeigh actually did it.
Yeah, and the Ryder van couldn't have blown the fucking half the goddamn building off, which is just like it defies physics. That shit was
just like 9/11.
Well, yeah, and they had that fucking building wired to blow, and a lot of those fucking explosives didn't even go off, so they had FBI agents in there dismantling fucking bombs after the fact, getting that shit out of the building. And the reason why they blew that fucking building up was because there was files in there that were that contained information as to why fucking
Hillary Clinton.
Exactly. It tied the Clintons in and the Bushes because of there was information. Not only that, but there was information tying like the squalene and the fucking vaccinations they were giving to troops prior to the first Iraq War under Bush, under Bush 1. And then they developed fucking Iraq War syndrome from it.
Yeah.
So they were trying to cover that up too. Like it was like a multiple operation cover up.
Well, and there's evidence that there may have been things that already indicated that the depleted uranium shells were not nearly as depleted as initially believed.
Oh yeah, that too. Yep, absolutely.
Oh yeah, because Iraqis are totally not having like birth defects and kids being
dude, they said
extra arms and.
They said Fallujah is worse than like.
From the 810s.
Yeah, they said Fallujah is like I think like 100 times worse than like Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yep, but it's all legal because the United States government says so.
Because America,
America, and if you don't like it, you can move to Florida.
We're the only country that is a major military power in the world that refused to allow any of our military to be held accountable to the UN Human Rights Council Tribunal on War Crimes.
Yeah.
Yep. But we're supposed to believe them that Assad gassed his own people in an area that he controls.
Yeah. What I don't understand though is like. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was gonna say what I don't understand is like why you would use DU in a fucking a theater of war if you're occupying that fucking place. Whatever country it is that you're occupying at that time, because not only are your soldiers susceptible to that fucking radioactivity.
Expendable, Dan.
Well, I understand that. But I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense if you're gonna like occupy an area that you would fucking totally devastate.
They don't have to occupy the area. Once they get the depleted uranium in there and the radiation takes over, then it fucks up the next generation, and that next generation doesn't have any more kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the
but it's
really
uninhabitable for like thousands of years because the half-life is like fucking ridiculous.
That's fine. They don't need people living there to pump oil.
This is true.
So So I saw this meme. Car salesman slaps the hood of Syria, right? And says, "Hey, this dictator can stop so many wars the night before he gasses his own people." It makes total sense,
right?
Look at like all these U.S. troops.
Yeah,
something about this Syria can hold so many U.S. troops. I don't fucking know.
Like Russia comes in to assist Syria, they fucking start stomping the piss out of ISIS. United States gets pissed off, establishes military bases within CIA the country. Wrong. Oh, sorry. Well, no, yes, CIA, Mossad, Turkish intelligence, Saudi intelligence, because they're all involved. But anyway,
fucking assholes.
Yeah. So that's who's really running ISIS and al-Nusra Front and all these fucking factions within Syria that are, essentially trying to war for that region. But I mean, the Syrian army is fucking stomped the piss out of them and drove them out of Syria, and now the United States is like, well, we pretty much lost this fucking war, so we're gonna have to drum up some propaganda and make it look good so that we can get our military in there. But it hasn't worked.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Vietnam. It's Vietnam for a different generation.
Yeah, not only that, but after the weapons of mass destruction thing in Iraq, I think people just aren't buying shit anymore.
So, Dan, you've seen the picture, I'm sure, and I'm sure everybody else has seen the picture. There's a picture. I mean, you can Google the shit. It's fucking disgusting. It's a black and white photo of Lyndon Baines Johnson getting winked at by JFK's former chief of staff, like literally over his dead body.
Yeah, on the plane.
And, yeah. And
yep.
dude is smiling, like they fucking know, like they know.
Oh yeah, Oh, they knew.
Long story short, the Jews.
Yep. Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but JFK kind of fought against Israel becoming like the only nuclear armed fucking state within the Middle East, and then like not long after that, he wound up dead.
Well, I mean, he not only fought against that, but also was very anti-Fed, and don't go against the Rothschilds.
No.
Yeah.
Right, once again, what are they? Just a coincidence again.
A coincidence.
A black man called the cops Nazis, and he was charged with a hate crime.
Well, they are Nazis.
Yeah, tempers can flare during an arrest, leading to people say ill-advised and even cruel things. But where does protected speech and criminal speech begin? The line is being blurred by police in Pennsylvania who are using the state's hate crime statute called ethnic intimidation, defined as malicious intent toward the race, color, religion, or national origin of another individual or group of individuals against people who direct vitriol at them. On September 20,
Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
On September 23rd, 2016, Peterson, a 52-year-old black man from North Carolina, was arrested for retail theft in Crafton, a small town near Pittsburgh. During the arrest, Sanderson called the police Nazis, skinheads, and Gestapo, according to an affidavit of probable cause filed by the Crafton Borough Police. For that, he was charged with a hate crime.
How dare this thief be accurate in his speech?
So here's the deal. Like the two things I don't understand about laws in general is that they use the term hate crime. Any real crime is a hate crime. Like
ethnic intimidation.
Any real crime is a hate crime.
He was ethnically intimidating the 6 guys standing around him with guns.
Well, here's what you got to understand, though, specifically about that area. A lot of those cops don't make $25,000 a year to be cops.
Good, they shouldn't.
Well, no, right. But what I'm saying is like they just, the local kids who want to be cops go to fucking cop school and come back and they pay them $10 an hour.
Yeah, and it's usually the kids that were picked on in fucking school and they take it out on everybody else.
Or they were the kids that used to pick on people, but then they grew up and became grown-ups. And they realized that, hey, fucking pick on me, motherfucker. I dare you to. And, I can't handle getting my ass kicked by some guy that I tried to bully when I was fucking 16. So I'm going to go bully motherfuckers because now I have this magic fucking talisman that I pin to my shirt and a gun that the fucking state gives me using the tax money that is stolen from the people that I fucking,
are sworn to protect and serve. Yeah. Protecting and serving the shit out of people.
So two things. First things first. All real crimes are hate crimes. Okay, there's no such thing as an actual legit. And I'm not talking about crimes as in the definition of law. I'm talking about the reason why I am an anarchist. Okay, and thank God,
immoral actions such as assault.
Eric July is on that shit, and I know he's not very popular among this group. But Jared Howe, all rights are fucking property rights. End of fucking statement. End of comment. Period. Point blank. All rights are property rights.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
My body is my property. The things that I have acquired through voluntary exchange and righteous, personhood are property. Is my property.
Yeah, it's an extension of you.
It's an extension of me, right? And so saying something bad about somebody, calling them a nasty name, that's not a violation of their rights. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm not sorry. Fuck all that shit. I'm not sorry at all. Calling somebody a bad name, being a bigot, being a racist. Hey, man, you know what? The fucking Nazis, the actual real-life National Socialist German Workers' Party Nazis, they were some fucking good-looking dudes, man. They had fucking Hugo Boss making their suits. They had great haircuts. Goddamn.
The aesthetic was spot on.
Beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being a fucking Nazi. The thing that's wrong is what Nazis do, which is what fascists do.
It's forcing it on others.
Right, which is force and violating people's property rights. And so my black dude in fucking Baltimore or wherever this happened in North Carolina,
Pennsylvania, yeah.
So he called the fucking cops Nazis. First of all, he's not incorrect. They are fucking Nazis. Second of all, that's exactly what they are. The fucking Gestapo, the fucking Gestapo. I mean, Jesus Christ! Don't walk home from the bar because you'll go to jail. I'm really mad about that, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Are you?
Yeah, we're kind of picking up on this little bit of upset.
It gets hold on. This gets even better. The grading of an offense, whether it's felony or misdemeanor, is based on the grading of the underlying offenses. So by definition, ethnic intimidation increases the penalty of a crime by making the grading one step higher than the underlying alleged bias-motivated offense. In Sanderson's case, police claimed the terroristic threats charged was bias-motivated.
You said terroristic.
I love how that's so wide open to interpretation.
The offense is graded
that's
as
a popular one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. The offense is graded as a first-degree misdemeanor, meaning the ethnic intimidation charge Sanderson faced was then upgraded to a third-degree felony.
Wow.
Which is
So
why
now
they
he's charged with it. Now he's charged with a felony for calling the cops Nazis and Gestapo.
Because he called Nazis Nazis. Because he actually used the correct fucking vernacular to describe.
Yeah, but what's really funny about this whole situation is these small town cops think they're being slick by charging this guy with this hate crime to drum up sensationalism over a fucking theft charge.
Yep.
But what's going to end up happening is that the whatever judge is going to try it is going to rule that it doesn't meet the quality or the description of a hate crime, because Nazi isn't an ethnicity. It isn't any of those qualifiers that were listed.
The town of Crafton has a population of 5,951.
Right.
Well, this is
So
my
that
whole.
shit's going to get thrown the fuck out, and that dude's going to go free, which is good in the end.
Mark, are you not in your truck?
No, I'm at home.
Where the hell have you been?
How?
He was walking around his kitchen and all sorts of stuff
without Mark being in his truck. That's crazy. I don't
So this is my whole gripe with fucking hate crimes and hate laws and all this bullshit. Like I absolutely loathe them because it panders to fucking identity politics.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Dan, all politics are identity politics. All of them.
Well, to a degree, yeah. But I mean, that's to a fucking severe degree, because it's like, oh well, they hated me because of my skin color or whatever. It's like, okay, well then fucking resolve that yourself. Like punch the guy in the face or something, whatever. Just walk the fuck away. Like just deal with it on your own. You don't got to call the cops and be like, oh well, this guy was calling me the N-word or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that I think that people should do that, but it's like it's freedom of speech, and if you don't like it, either the person faces the consequences of their free speech, or you fucking walk away and just say fuck you. You know what I mean?
It's like the whole thing about punching Nazis, right? Punching quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Nazis, right. Well, you can't punch a person in the face just for being something you dislike.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Well, you can if you're a leftist.
No, you can't if you're a leftist.
But see, this is
we knew somebody had to bring it up.
This is the point that I brought up with.
Brother.
I got blocked by an Antifa member on fucking Twitter, a couple months ago about this whole thing, and I was like,
really? You?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so surprised.
So I gave him the fucking business too, and I was like, you can't just go around fucking punch. I was like, you can't just go around punching Nazis just because you think people are Nazis because they don't agree with what you agree with. I was like, that's not how shit works. I was like, because that gives them justification to fucking punch you in the face. Yeah, to not only be Nazis, but to punch you in the fucking face for being an Antifa member. Exactly. Like it's fair game at that point. You're gonna fucking pull that shit. Motherfuckers are gonna come after you too. So be careful what the fuck you're doing.
And it's gonna escalate. It's only gonna get worse. It's gonna escalate.
That's what I mean.
May the God Emperor Donald Trump bless our fucking. May the God Emperor Donald Trump bless our Lord and Savior.
The troll Lord.
I hope you choke on a Cheeto, Justin. I really do.
Hey, first of all, okay, so going back, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I had this conversation about Donald Trump with somebody, and I said, "Look, man, or gal, whoever this was," I said,
"You can't tell these days."
I didn't know you can't. There's like 75 different genders or some fucking bullshit, but whatever. But like I said, this is what I said. I said. And I truly mean this. Donald Trump is probably the best thing that's ever happened to this country. Ever.
No.
Ever. And this is why. This is why. He has made the idea of American politics so fucking absurd so crazy that people are just giving up on politics. Like, oh, fuck, this is what we're really doing right now? Like, this is the fucking clown show that we're in?
Dude, this is the first chapter in an
excited for
idiocracy. That's what this is.
They are really,
It's the
really
prequel.
They are really considering
the early years.
The Democrat lineup for 2020 is so fucking outrageously laughable.
Yeah, it is pathetic.
Donald Trump is gonna get reelected.
No, you know who's the front runner Democrat for 2020?
Hillary Clinton.
Bernie?
No, Joe Biden.
Oh,
yeah.
Creepy Uncle Joe.
Crazy Uncle Joe, the child molester.
Lunchbox Joe.
Can you imagine a Biden-Trump debate?
Oh my
Oh
god.
Christ.
Oh wow.
They might as well have that shit on the Cartoon Network.
Well, they have to, so their constituencies could understand it.
I did.
I'm telling you, buy stock in memes because the price is going to rise.
Oh, dude, totally.
And that's the thing is, as a person who's
going through the roof,
States, that's a terrifying idea. But as a comedian, I'm going, yes.
It's a gold mine, dude. It's a fucking gold mine. Are you kidding me?
Like I said,
I'm like salivating over here. I'm like
I said, it's that's why
Dan hears shekels dropping.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's why I like it because Donald Trump made the idea.
It's raining shekels.
So fucking laughable, so outrageously ridiculous that
just wait until 2020. If he gets reelected, it'll get even worse.
He's gonna get reelected.
If he gets reselected or reelected, depending on whatever your preferences. But if he gets into office again for another 4 years, it's going to get so much worse because he doesn't have to get reelected again, right? So he has no consequences.
You are forgetting yourself, sir. You are forgetting yourself.
So he has no consequences for his second term.
After
that was like Obama in his second term.
Or he might bring back the third term. You never know.
Exactly. There you go, Mark. Mark knows I'm
That's it.
Yeah, right?
I'm moving to Somalia.
We need a new deal now.
Rebel Valley, it's happening. It's happening.
Jason, we talked about this. We're gonna all move to Wyoming. We're gonna buy a lot of land. And we're gonna rename it Somalia.
But why would we? Why? I don't understand why we would do it in this country though. Like that doesn't.
Yeah, Anarchy. Let's take over some third world shithole.
Yeah, it's
like
Wyoming.
Canada, and make it a good place.
Yeah. When you say like Canada,
yeah.
Canada has like 7 guns and civilian hands.
But we're changing Canadian bacon back to fucking ham.
Marstar, if you guys are watching.
Yeah, but you know what they have? They have George St. Pierre. He's going to be like their Chuck Norris.
Well, he's actually their Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's like that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, please. There are children in the audience.
I'm sorry.
Dang.
But George is like in Quebec. That's like their version of New York City. So I mean, we could just annex Western Canada with like British Columbia and stuff.
There we go.
Then we can join up with Alaska. We can make our own country.
So like real quick, and then we need to get to another article, I'm sure, because I like going off tangents. But my favorite thing about Donald Trump is that he made politics so ridiculous, so outrageously ridiculous, that regular normal people are like looking at anarchy like, "Hey, this is like a good idea, huh?" My second favorite thing is that when the shooting war starts, not if, but when the shooting war starts, thanks to Donald Trump and what he did to the left and how fucking insane they got.
Yeah, right.
When the shooting war starts, I will still be young enough to effectively move, shoot, and communicate, and run a rifle.
Andrew and I talked about
but you'll have a
next Civil War, quote unquote. We got to do a whole show on that.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
See, this is how I envision it. Is like there's going to be a whole bunch of Second Amendment supporters behind sandbags, blowing away fucking hordes of fucking rabid SJWs, fucking with dildos in one hand and EBT cards in the other, like charging.
Did you just say SJEUW?
No, I said SJWs.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that is until the police tell us.
Oh.
Well,
Shiesty Jews. That's what SJW stands for, man.
I fucking know.
That is until the cops tell them to stop shooting, and they'll stop shooting because blue line.
Well, yeah, they'll lay down their arms and go, "Oh, sorry, hero."
Yeah,
guys.
My bad.
I realized I was dealing with superheroes here.
Oh my god.
Victim of Norwalk
Would you like
assault. Victim of Norwalk assault gets 18 months for not retreating.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing as the strippers in Florida getting their money stolen. Like, so a person again who was trying to protect their personal property, which is their body, got arrested and is probably going to go to jail, or is already in jail because they didn't flee from a violent conflict. That the only real option was defend yourself and die. I mean, yeah.
A Bridgeport man who was assaulted by 3 juveniles while he was at work in Norwalk.
There you go. The juveniles.
Will have to spend 18 months in jail for stabbing one of his attackers.
That takes some fucking balls, man. Let me tell you.
What's that, Andrew?
Somebody is easy. So I'm sure.
Well, I can't even.
I'm sure Andrew's probably read it. If the rest of you guys and the one person that's still watching this hasn't read it yet, go and get the book. It's a book from Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman. It's called On Killing.
Yeah.
And basically,
I have that book like within walking distance where I'm at right now. Actually.
I mean, no. You want to talk about walking distance? How about that?
Well, I don't have my book. My books are
right
a little further than that. It's across the room.
Right there in my hand. So it's got
maybe you should have read the book instead of walking home drunk from the bar.
Got him.
Jason brings up a good point. It's 400 pages.
So you don't even have to miss the show to get roasted.
I know. Where's Dare Cat? Where's Dare Cat when you need her? She's out there fucking paying offense to some dumb shit.
All right.
That short-haired bitch cutting off her finger. Jesus Christ.
I know. Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
no, it's funny. It's like she was in the hospital for that. Like she went to the ER because she cut off her finger and then served it to her family, right? Yeah. And then like a few days ago, Kevin's in the ER for an infected foot function.
Oh Jesus!
Like what the hell are they doing over there?
Right.
Somebody needs to just give them a ton of bubble wrap to just keep around themselves at all times.
Either that or just having like some crazy kinky sex or some shit. Involving fucking food slicers and fucking all kinds of shit.
I mean,
knowing them, I wouldn't doubt it, but still.
No wonder Deck.
Gotta keep it spicy, man. Gotta keep it spicy.
I like elephant cake, but you're busting out like a baseball bat with rusty nails in it. You
draw the line somewhere. Come on.
I gotta somewhere.
Yeah, once the bat with nails come out, my butthole puckers up. It's just like nope. Nope. Just call me.
Word.
So dude's in jail. Dude's in jail for a year and a half. He stabbed somebody.
A Bridgeport man who was assaulted by 3 juveniles while he was at work in Norwalk will have to spend 18 months in jail for stabbing one of the attackers. Quote, I was defending myself. Jeffrey Sumter, 21, told Judge John Blowy on Monday morning at the Stanford courthouse where he was sentenced for stabbing one of the males in the leg last October. The judge told Sumter that he understood and believed his versions of events, but said he had to follow the letter of the law.
Yeah, I mean, and people wonder why they call cops and the fucking judicial system Nazis. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Yes. Sumter
I totally
dressed.
agree with your story.
Yeah, like fuck all common sense and morality. We're just gonna follow the law.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally
You
believe
know
your
what I mean?
story. I totally believe your story. I believe everything you're saying,
You
and I
allowed me
actually
to
agree with
make a
you.
judgment call in this position that I have.
Judge. Oh wait, that doesn't work.
Sumter, dressed in white prison jumpsuit with short sleeves, did not reply. His public defender, that is the reason he went to jail, Howard Earring, said unlike a state like Florida, which has a law allowing its residents to stand their ground, Connecticut law requires Sumter to retreat from the beating he was given at Dunkin' Donuts where he worked.
So here's a really unpopular opinion, and it's an opinion that I will stick to. George Zimmerman is a fucking piece of shit, right? That's not disputable. Like anybody that has any kind of common sense will agree with that. But when he shot and killed Trayvon Martin, it was in self-defense and it was fucking justified. Being a fat piece of shit who can't fight, being a pussy, is not and should not be illegal. Being a fat piece of shit who's a pussy who follows somebody around a corner should not be illegal. Getting your ass kicked for being a fat piece of shit and a pussy is not and should not be illegal as long as you do not initiate the conflict. And following somebody walking down the street and looking at them is not a violation of somebody's property.
Nope, I agree with it. He's a turd, but he was a turd.
He's a huge fucking piece of shit. And if I saw him in the street, I would punch him in the face, violating the NAP, because he's a fat piece of shit and a pussy.
And then he'd follow you and shoot you. So
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? And so this dude in Connecticut who got fucking jumped, or from what you're saying, like he got fucking assaulted
at work. He was at work when the kids jumped him.
Well, it's a matter of self-defense at that point, I would imagine.
That's what I'm getting at, is fucking kill them all, dude. He should.
Right.
You at the point in which, so not to praise the statist mentality, but Teddy Roosevelt said it best.
Big South Dakota stick.
No, not that. He said that also. But Teddy Roosevelt said, violence is not always the answer, but when it is the answer, it's the only answer.
That is true. I don't rule it out. I mean, see, that's the thing that people confuse about anarchists, because some guy said that the other day. He was like, "Oh, everybody's an anarchist until they get punched in the face by me, and then they call the cops." And I was like, "Yeah, try it, buddy."
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
how you
the
get
first
yourself
thing
when
I
you're put in
do.
a hospital.
I mean, if you spell cops,
That's what I'm saying.
GLOCK, then yeah, that's what I call them, a fucking GLOCK.
And I was like, what kind of pussy calls the fucking cops? I was like, we're the kind of people that deal with that shit on our fucking own terms. Like, if you're gonna violate my fucking, you're gonna aggress on me, prepare for fucking war, because it's on.
That's what
you know what I mean.
I told that I commented on Andrew's status the other day. It's I tell my kids, I tell my kids that an eye for an eye is woefully inadequate.
Well, yeah, if they aggress on you, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that was my Fred Rogers. If they put 3 years in the hospital, you put 6 of theirs in the morgue.
Exactly, right.
Yep, I'm pretty sure Fred Rogers said that. I'm a huge fan of adequate and judicious self-defense. If somebody's gonna hurt you, make it so that they can't ever hurt you again.
Yep. Well, so for me, the whole thing is that, you know, the entire idea of like a schoolyard fight where you meet somebody in the quad after fucking lunch and like you throw a couple punches, maybe you roll around the ground, you know, and then it's all over and nobody cares. Like, those days are over, man. Like, I'm too old for that shit. If I get into an actual real life physical confrontation with somebody, it's to the fucking death.
Yeah.
Because I don't initiate shit with nobody. I never ever put myself in a position.
That's what I'm saying. And if you're gonna punch me in the face, knock me the fuck out, please. Because if if that shit happens and I don't get knocked out, I just get more pissed off, and I lose my shit, and I'm like on fucking rampage mode trying to kill people.
Well, and
You gotta be careful not to call him a Jew while you're doing it.
Well, no, I reserve the hate crimes for after I've knocked them out.
Oh,
Then I call
that's
him
why
names.
I love Dan.
All right, Dan.
I'm like, is it a
Dan and Mark-
coincidence that you just got knocked the fuck out?
All right, we need Dan and Mark Zuckerberg in the ring for a charity fight.
Oh, I would tear him to pieces, dude.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I would pay any amount. I would pay any amount of money to see Dan and Mark fight.
I would just tear Mark from fucking limb from limb, dude.
That'd be fun. All right, let's
No, you wouldn't. He's a lizard. He'd probably like eat you.
Just regenerate.
He would shapeshift and be like 7 feet tall and like be able to fucking lift like 9,000 pounds.
Dan and get Hillary Clinton on the way to the ring.
You gotta watch out for those reptilian shapeshifters, dude. I'm telling you. Sneaky bastards.
Some spirit
Dude.
cooking.
Smartest fucking show on television, South Park. Crab people. Look like crab. Talk.
All right,
The way you beat him is with their one weakness, which is straight frogs.
Yeah, straight frogs, not gay frogs.
Hey,
That's why they got to turn them all gay so that they can't be used as a weapon.
That's
Andrew,
right.
Don't get me started on Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is doing the Lord's work.
That fucking dude. That
People don't
I've
think
got
they be
documents,
turning all the
bro.
frogs gay, but they is.
like
You guys remember that MTV claymation
Yeah,
Celebrity
deathmatch.
Deathmatch?
Yeah.
Yep. They need to bring
Those
that
are
back.
Judge Mills Lane, dude.
Yep. They need to bring that back just for Mark Zuckerberg.
No, so hey, I'm gonna say this about that Alex Jones. The dude is a fucking Nostradamus, man. Like literally everything he says comes to reality. But the crazy thing is, shit is he says this shit like 4 years before it happened, so nobody remembers that he was fucking 100% correct. Like I'm going back and I'm looking at old Alex Jones shit. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, is he a time traveler? Like, this dude came back from the future.
Well, the gay frogs.
Marty motherfucking McFly, dude.
Well, I mean, anything that he backs up with actual documentation, it's like they fucking already written about it and told you about it, and then they roll it out. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know to where to look, you're gonna know 4 years before that shit rolls out.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to this last article because
Like the surveillance state and everything else.
Yeah, it's actually anarcho. So.
Oh shit, we got to talk about anarchy.
Yeah, judge said there's no fundamental right to read and or there's no fundamental right to learn to read and write.
Yes, that's 100% correct.
Yes,
We're gonna seem like assholes for agreeing with that.
Yeah.
Think of the children.
You hate the poors.
All right.
Learning skills is not a fundamental right. Like you aren't born with an innate right to learn skills. Where the fuck is Max Sterner when you need him? Goddamn spook.
Few could dispute the importance of literacy, but children have no fundamental right to learn to read and write, according to a federal judge whose ruling is closely watched. Lawsuit Friday left some disheartened and others raising questions. Quote,
so he's a good dude then.
Yeah. Quote, I'm shocked, said Ivy Bailey, president of the Detroit Federation of Teachers.
Oh my God.
This message,
Detroit.
Yeah, quote, the message that it sends is that education is not important and sends the message that we don't care if you're literate or not.
That's absolutely not what it says. It says that learning is not.
But that is actually also true.
Yes. But, okay. The ruling came in a federal lawsuit that was watched across the U.S. because
why is it that leftists are incapable of seeing from
Andrew? Did you go? Where'd you go?
Still there, Andrew?
Why is it that leftists are what?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on?
You're free.
No, were you saying about it? Leftists are incapable of what?
I can see the beard. I can't hear you though.
There you go.
You have to repeat the tirade.
Try that again, Andrew.
Leftists.
Okay. Oh, the
Leftists
problem
are-
is, yeah, there we go. All right, so the problem is that leftists are constantly confusing important with human right. Like, as soon as they're like, no, this thing is, like, super important, then they're like, no, this thing is also then therefore a right. Well, no, like, air is also important. You don't necessarily, if you live on Mars, still have fucking air. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. You're not entitled to it. You know what I mean? It's like that's not how things work.
The crazy thing is like the leftists will say the same shit about healthcare. Healthcare is a human right.
Exactly.
Okay, so
that's that's like the socialist argument too.
What's more important and required for basic life functions, food or healthcare?
But then they'll tell you that firearms aren't a right.
Well, firearms are not right. Private
because they have a right to safety.
But I thought
you have a right to self-defense, which is like a negative right in a sense, because it's like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's preservation of self.
Well, Dan, you're saying exactly what the spook
but you
is.
Don't in that last case because the guy had a duty to retreat. So you actually don't have a right to self-defense.
No, you do. That's why the state fucking sucks, because it takes your rights away.
Yeah.
That's why rights are
which is the only power that the government actually has.
That's the only
make people criminals.
Well, what do you think laws are? It's limitations on rights.
Yes, I know, yes.
The ruling came in a federal lawsuit that was closely watched across the U.S. because of its potential impact. Filed on behalf of Detroit students, it sought to hold a dozen state officials, including Governor Rick Snyder, accountable for what plaintiffs said were systematic failures that deprived Detroit children of their right to literacy. The lawsuit remedies that included literacy reforms, a systematic approach to instruction and intervention, as well as fixes to crumbling Detroit schools. Earlier this month, the officials with the Detroit Public School Community District said it would cost $500 million to bring school buildings up to par.
Isn't Detroit run by the left?
Yes. It's been for fucking years and years and years.
Nothing but leftist.
Forever.
It's almost like they saw the free market and they're like, you know what? A part of my brain says this is a good idea. I don't need that part. Let me just fucking take it out and throw it in the toilet.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the whole thing. Like socialists, leftists, communists, they're all pieces of shit. Fuck them all. They can all get thrown out of helicopters for all I give a fuck. But so.
Don't sugarcoat it, man. Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck them. So
I love it.
Food and water are more important to everyday life function than adequate health care.
Okay,
why don't commies demand that food and water become subsidized by the government tax theft?
Because Republicans
some
are
of them
doing
do.
that through the farm bills.
Well, some of them do. Some are like, hey, Comrade Lenin, the means of production and therefore also the means of food and water should be provided by the state. And that's like, oh, God damn it, man! You really between Kelly Thomas and commies, man.
Hold on, just wait.
He's out of his sorts.
Hold your thoughts.
I'm discombobulated.
U.S. District Judge Stephen Murphy III, in his ruling Friday, noted the importance of literacy. Quote, plainly, literacy and the opportunity to obtain it is of importance. Murphy wrote in a 40-page opinion, quote, as plaintiffs pointed out, voting, participating meaningfully in civic life, and the accessing justice requires some measure of literacy. But those points, Murphy said, quote, do not necessarily make access to literacy a fundamental right. And he said the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly emphasized that the importance of a good or service, quote, does not determine whether it must be regarded as fundamental.
Wow, so like the market and shit. Crazy.
You know, it's kind of crazy because it's like, why would you? Like, I don't disagree with the fact that children should be educated, but I don't think they should be educated by state indoctrination fucking centers. You know what I
Which
mean?
is every public school.
Oh, and
Exactly.
there's a huge difference between education and schooling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I
Right?
mean. That's what I mean.
You can get an education without ever going to school, just as you can go to school without ever getting an education.
Exactly.
Yo, we taking these motherfuckers to school right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're taking them to education.
It's like, so like for me, like one of the things that really pisses me off is when people use text shorthand. They use the letters U and R for your.
Yeah.
Yep.
The number 2.
Yeah, they use the number 2.
Oh my goodness! And for God's sake, learn there, and there.
No,
And two, and your.
There, and there is nothing. Whose and whose. Effect and effect.
Effect and effect, yeah.
Whose and whose. Effect and effect.
That's
some next level fucking...
My favorite is when they misspell racist when they're yelling at me.
Well, it's like, so I refuse it. Like, Jason, you've read my text messages and my Facebook messages and shit. I type on my cell phone correct grammar, spelling, and syntax and punctuation at all times because I find it really, like, it's very telling of a person that refuses to, like...
Yeah, they're like lazy with their wording.
Yeah, if they're lazy with the way they type, they're lazy about every fucking thing else, and I'm not okay with that. Yeah, pineapple on pizza, no. Rolling the fucking toilet paper in front of me, no. This is all shit that terrorists and fucking commies do. They're fucking word socialists, man. The word socialists, they want to recapture the means of fucking grammar. And I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it.
Well, I've been like a writer for fucking years, probably since I was like 13. Since I was like in bands and shit and was like lead singing and whatnot and writing songs. And then like after I wasn't in bands anymore, I just continued writing. But yeah, like that shit irks me too. Like you're definitely right on that fact about, you know, people using the shorthand bullshit.
I mean, you're not a stenographer, okay? Like you don't work for the fucking court. It doesn't take any much longer to write out the letters necessary to convey your thought.
It takes even less if you use predictive text.
That
or
and
swipe.
The fact that, thank God,
swipe's really dumb occasionally.
Oh,
yeah.
Swipe has stopped correcting fucking the duck, so swipe can learn.
That shit pisses me off, man. Like, hey, Apple, guess what? Never in my entire life have I ever said ducking on purpose.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I said fucking.
Yeah. That shit's happened to me more than like 20 times.
You know what I'm saying?
20 ducking.
You know what's even a few months. Like this past fall, my kids got ducks. They keep chickens.
Duck this shirt.
But they got some baby ducks.
That just doesn't sound right.
And I was talking to my daughter about her ducks, and it kept autocorrecting to book.
Hey, good.
Better than dicks, I guess.
Phone is learning.
Well,
your baby fucks.
That brings up another pet peeve of mine when it comes to phones. If you send me a text message and it's a green bubble, you're a fucking plebeian fucking peasant. Stay out of my airspace, okay? Blue bubbles only, okay? Blue bubbles only.
All right, you guys. Let's get wrapping this up. And actually, I have a fun fact. To wrap this one up. You guys will like this. Okay. The average American uses $10 worth of toilet paper in a month. For $10, you could buy 3.7 Venezuelan bolivars. That's enough to wipe your ass for at least 2 years, thereby saving you at least $230. Yeah.
The market divides.
You gotta get on that.
How do I go about importing toilet paper from Venezuela?
And special bonus, you are actually helping. You're helping their economy because you're reducing the inflation.
Exactly. See?
Well, I mean, Pepe memes are worth more than their money. So,
well, Pepe memes are worth more than so many things. Just,
the World of Warcraft money is worth more than the Venezuelan bolívar.
and it's worth noting, with Venezuela that is the same socialism that is magically now not real socialism that Bernie Sanders and all of his little friggin' cronies were praising a few years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, but
don't they feel
it's okay
stupid?
Because Bernie can't see Venezuela from his third vacation home.
Yeah, right.
Dude, that
fucking
socialist
prick.
chick from New York is hot, man. Like, she's good looking, but she's a fucking idiot.
Well,
Dude, there was a picture of
I'm
her.
gonna have to go ahead.
All right, fellas, I'm out. Catch y'all later.
All
Good
right,
night, Mark. Take it easy,
Yeah,
Mark.
there was a meme that somebody had made with her smiling next to a picture of Gollum, and the similarity was fucking striking, dude.
No, she reminds me of that chick, the overly fucking attached girlfriend, clinger girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you know the fucking meme I'm talking about.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I started out stealing my boyfriend's money, and then I realized, why don't I steal all the other men's money too?
Exactly.
This seems like a perfect plan.
Damn, dude, where'd that girl come from? Andrew, is that your lady?
Yeah.
Put her on, dude. Put her on.
She's an AK fan, Justin.
She is a huge AK fan.
Yep.
I haven't gotten a Valmet in her hands yet, but I know that once I do, that I'll have to spend a couple grand to pick one up for her.
Well, like I said previously, green bubbles. If your text message comes through with green bubbles, you probably are an AK fan. You're a fucking plebeian fucking whore.
And you're gonna arrest you for walking home drunk. Is that where you're going with this?
No, I should have drove.
If you'd have just stayed at the bar and had a pizza with pineapple on it, you would not have been arrested.
That's right.
If I wipe my ass with toilet paper from underneath rolled fucking rolls.
No, see, I go over with the fucking toilet paper, but I also like pineapple on my pizza. So,
Dan, Dan has been infected with the juice.
Hey, dude, pineapple is great.
The pineapple juice. The pineapple juice, dude.
Pineapple juice. Okay, first of all, I like pineapple. I'm not an anti-pineapple guy, right? But the shit doesn't go on pizza, okay? It doesn't.
I'm telling you, dude, get drunk sometime and eat fucking pineapple bacon jalapeno pizza, and you'll die.
Oh, damn, it sounds really with red chili flake on top.
Oh my god,
that's the shit, dude.
Yep, so.
It's like sweet and salty and spicy. Oh, it's good.
On that note, go support your local capitalist pizza parlor and order that.
Yeah,
we'll catch you next time. Peace.